Hello there.
Hey guys, Josh Lloyd here, NBA What to Watch for Friday in the league. Big day coming up. We've got 10 games. Let's take a look at them right now. Spurs-Cavs, first one off. Keldon Johnson's been struggling, apart from the second half against the Bulls, where he did play pretty well. I'm still not sure that he is a must-roster 12-team league guy. In a lot of cases, I'm holding. In some, I drop. It just depends on my team, the strength, my standings position, and who I'd be adding. But I want to see if he can use that momentum from the second half to turn it around. I also want to watch Devin Vassell, who played really well, played more minutes than Lonnie Walker last game. Can he eat his way into the rotation a little bit more? There's no DeMar DeRozan again for San Antonio, so he's going to play. But how much does he play compared to Mills and compared to Walker? For the Cavs, Jarrett Allen has been withering. His numbers have been dropping. His field goal percentage is in the toilet. He can't hit free throws. It's a massive buy low. Let's see if this is the game that he turns that around. While Isaac Okoro has scored in double digits each of the last two games. Now, his role and his minutes, they're not going anywhere. They're solid. They're rock solid. Nothing's changing. But we need to see more from him from a stat accumulation perspective for him to have any value really outside of 18-team leagues or maybe 16-teamers. But the trend is it's going well at the moment. Let's see if it can continue. Next up, let's look at the Kings and the Celtics. Tyrese Halliburton should start again. His first start wasn't particularly good, but he's a clear must-roster player, a bit of a buy-low guy as well. And I also want to pay some attention to Richaun Holmes, who was absolutely rolling until last game where he got into some early foul trouble. And then, of course, they played 20 minutes of Hassan Whiteside. I don't believe the 20 minutes of Hassan Whiteside is the real rotation that Walton will use if Holmes doesn't get into foul trouble. So that's what I want to focus on. Where Holmes is playing, how much he's playing, and what that means for his role and for Whiteside's role. For the Celtics, we saw Rob Williams close the game over Daniel Tice. Tristan Thompson's out again. Do we get 22 minutes of the Rock DJ? Or do we get 27 minutes? 27 minutes, and then we are all excited. We are all really ready to go if Rob Williams plays those 27 minutes. While Marcus Smart started last game with Kemba Walker out, do they keep him in the starting lineup? Do they move him back to the bench? What do they do? He'd obviously replace Shemi Ojeleye in that scenario, but I thought he looked his best since returning from that calf injury. I imagine he sticks in the starting lineup, but that's what we want to pay attention to. Next game, Pacers Heat. Timothy John McConnell, the role is significantly reduced. Now, he did score well last game. He had 12 points in that last game, but the 27, 28 minutes has gone down to like 19 to 22 in that range, and I just don't believe that he's going to maintain 12-team value. Also, the last couple has had no Jeremy Lamb, so when Lamb comes back, there's probably going to be some sort of an impact there on and TJ as well. Miles Turner, the frustration with him continues. We'll have these big block games, and then he plays 25 minutes at another one, which happened last game. That was, of course, due to some foul trouble, so that's worth monitoring. But let's hope we can get some big performances out of Miles coming up. Well, for the Heat, Kelly Olynyk. I didn't mention this on yesterday's recap show. That was my mistake. Olynyk was limited in minutes, but he had 5 fouls in those 18 minutes. So if he stays out of foul trouble, what does his role look like? Trevor Ariza won't play in this game, but will we see Olynyk play 30, 24, 20? Like, his minutes are a big, big crapshoot. And then Jim Butler. Let's pay some attention to Jimmy because he's been amazing since the All-Star break. Steals through the roof, good assist numbers, shooting the three ball better than he has. Really efficient stuff from Butler. I maintain that he's a sell high from the number one player position. But let's see if he's able to maintain a really strong level of production. Next game, Warriors-Grizzlies. No Steph Curry most likely. He's doubtful. So Jordan Poole and Nico Mannion. Who is going to start? Now, they're all going to get a boost, Mannion, Poole, and Brad Wanamaker. I could see them starting Wanamaker and then playing Poole and Mannion in elevated roles off the bench. Poole is the guy that we want. His usage, his scoring, he's shooting well. He's looking really good out there. I think he's worth a stream option, and we'll talk about the streams later on today. But he is a really key focus for me. And if they do decide to start Mannion, which I think is a possibility, he has started already this year, that last game before the break. What sort of numbers can he put up? Is he worth a stream? Probably not on a 10-day or 10-game slate, just because he'd be very low end. I'd much rather, again, Poole in that scenario, but let's see what he can do. For the Grizzlies, the wave pool, DeAnthony Melton.
No question about it. I am ready to get hurt again.
Is this the day? Is this the day that Taylor Jenkins decides that, no, it's 25 a night minimum for Melton? Not saying he should start over Grayson Allen. Actually, that's not true. I am saying he should start over Grayson Allen. I don't even want him to start. I don't even need him to start, though. He just needs to get those minutes. So we are watching intently to see how Taylor Jenkins misuses DeAnthony Melton and also Kyle Anderson, who is trending down really, really in a big way. The last couple of games have pushed back up. He's still really fringy in terms of 12-team value as to where he sits. I wouldn't be bothering with him in a 10-team format, but how he looks, how that compares with him and Brandon Clark, what they do with all those wings. Xavier Tillman was the guy to miss out on the rotation last game, with Clark playing more at the 5, which helps Anderson's minutes at the 4 quite obviously. Next game, Nets Magic. Nick Claxton. More minutes than DeAndre Jordan last game for Claxton. Is that an anomaly? Is that something that can continue? If it happens again here, then we are adding. We're definitely adding. In fact, if you wanted to add Claxton now, I don't blame you because the upside is there. It's a flyer. It's a massive flyer, and we saw it happen for one game. If it happens for 2, and he plays like 24 minutes, because he keeps saying, yeah, it's my conditioning. I just need my conditioning back, and it's improving. So is that why he's been limited? Or is it Nash and Jordan and the coaching decisions? But last game, it tipped in his favor. If you want to add, by all means, but this is a really key one. And then let's watch Jeff Green.
My name is Jeff.
Who he continues to play pretty good minutes, whether that's starting or coming off the bench. Really elite streamer, especially for 14 and 16-team leagues, but I don't really think is much of a 12-team league must roster. For the Magic, Aaron Gordon, Evan Fournier, they all returned on Thursday. I don't know if they play in this game. That'll be key to watch if they do play and how they look. While Chuma Akiki could be a guy that benefits if Gordon does happen to rest. Akiki should start. I've been impressed with him. I haven't been impressed with the way that he's been handled at times by Steve Clifford, but I have been impressed by Akiki. A long way off 12-team value though. While Mo Bamba,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
a guy that I talked about in my permanent monster video a couple of days ago, just needing those opportunities, and it is a hard path to get there, but again on Thursday, in limited minutes, he put up good fantasy stats. Not saying he deserves to play 25 a night, because he clearly doesn't, because Vucevic is there, and he's better, and he's significantly better, and Ken Birch has been better at times as well, but the Magic season's going nowhere. So Bumba's always a guy I want to watch just to see, can he show me anything on the court that makes me think, maybe you could hold down some starting minutes. Maybe. The Pistons and the Rockets, the depressed penis, Sadiq Bey, bananas last game. He was crazy. He was shithouse before that, but he was crazy last game. I don't think that that's the real Sadiq Bey. I think the other performances are more the real Sadiq Bey, but he went crazy. So let's watch him, where he profiles as we move forward. And Dennis Smith Jr. was allegedly active after getting out of the COVID protocols, but didn't play. Now, I find that really curious, considering A, he was impressive when he did play earlier in the year. B, he's young. C, they said, hey, we love what Smith is doing. He's going to play down the stretch, and we're going to see if we can develop him. And then to take him out of the rotation, I don't think that's going to be what happens moving forward. And then how that fits in with the Joshy Jacksons and your Delon Wrights, and then eventually Hamidou Diallo, Killian Hayes, Wayne Ellington, Rodney Magruder, whichever of those group remains, is going to be intriguing. But will Smith play? For the Rockets, they should be getting Victor Oladipo back. After he rested last game, there will be a minutes restriction again for the crucifix Christian Wood. Where does Kenyon Martin Jr. fit into that? He's been really good in nearly every one of his games that he's played post-All-Star break. Impressive enough to be a 12-team flyer type guy. And then the wild thing, Jay Sean Tate, whose recent production has been pretty wild. It's been all over the place, up and down. His value a lot comes from defensive stats and from field goal percentage. His role feels relatively secure, but as now we're getting everyone sort of coming back, and we're still going to welcome back Johnny Wall into the mix, but House is back, Wood is back, Oladipo is going to play in this game, and then when we get John Wall returning, which at this point we don't know, Wall's questionable for this one, so we don't know whether he is going to be in action or not. What does that mean for guys like Kenyon Martin and guys like Jay Sean Tate? That's going to be a really key thing for us to watch. The Jazz and the Raptors back-to-back for Utah. Mike Conley will return. He'll step into the starting lineup after resting on Thursday. So what does that mean for Joe Ingles? Now, Conley's been playing well. I had someone tell me that they dropped Mike Conley today because they needed to stream in guys. Now, that is a ridiculous decision. Conley shouldn't be dropped. So I just want to see, again, how good does he look? Well, Ingles was excellent against the Wizards, but he'll go back into a smaller role, would be my guess. Almost definitely into a smaller role in this game. Well, for the Raptors, guys, Norman Powell. Can he keep being the best shooter of all time? That's the question. We might get OG Anunoby returning. We might get increased minutes from Fred VanVleet and Pascal Siakam, who were on a 30-minute limit last game. We don't know what OG's role is going to be. So the Raptors are basically at full health. So what does that mean for Powell? I think he'll still get 35 minutes. What does it mean for his usage? What does it mean for his role in the offense? And how well is he going to shoot? Well, the same thing we want to watch is the wiki Chris Boucher. They started him last game, but with Anunoby likely returning, I imagine Boucher goes back to the bench. Is he 29 minutes off the bench, or is he 24 minutes so that Aaron Baines can stumble through 20 minutes? I think both of those things have about a 50-50 chance of happening. Next game, Bulls-Nuggets, Wendell Carter Jr., and I have horribly misspelled Wendell's name there. I apologize to you, Wendell. Coming off the bench, I do think that he is close to a drop in 12-team leagues. I think he is a pretty strong 10-team league drop. I still believe in him a lot, but 17 minutes isn't enough. If you want to hold through the trade deadline, that's probably what I would recommend with Wendell. While Kobe White, I'm very happy to drop him.
Get that garbage out of here!
Just not enough minutes, not good enough as a player. Drop him in 12-team leagues. I thought the opportunity would be there. It was. He failed, and it's done. As for the Nuggets, Maga Porter Jr. is playing at a really high level. We've got no Morris and no Harris again, so he's going to get huge opportunities once more. Really want to see what he can produce. While Farton Will Barton also playing at a supremely high level. A 12-team must-roster player at this point in the season. Next game, Wolves-Suns, a rematch of Wolves-Suns from Thursday. Let's watch Anthony Edwards and Karl Anthony Towns from Minnesota. What are they able to do in the second game here? They are the two guys we want to focus on a lot. I also want to watch some Jalen Noel, who's been getting a ton of shots up. There'll be no Jarrett Culver. There'll be no D'Angelo Russell, almost definitely. While for the Suns, Cameron Payne has stepped up his level of play. How does he look in this one? And Devin Booker, the Western Conference Player of the Month for February. How is he looking? Because we know how badly he struggled to begin the season, or struggled based on his usual standards, but we've seen that start to increase. We still want to see more in terms of assists from Booker, but he's been really good of late. Mavs-Blazers, Maxi Kleber, gonna play good minutes, but he needs to be giving us 1.5 and 1.5, or 2 and 1.5, 2 threes, 1.5 blocks to really maintain must-roster 12-team status. While Kristaps Porzingis, I feel like Porzingis is just sort of going along and producing okay numbers without being great. Still top 50 type numbers, but not like top 20. And I'm just waiting for him to sort of just fiddle the knob. Just turn it up a couple of gears and see where we go. Well, for the Blazers, a back-to-back for those blokes. Gary Trent Jr., will he continue to get more minutes than Derek Jones Jr.? Almost definitely more minutes than Rocket Rodney Hood. But can he do anything outside of shoot? And generally the answer is no. Well, I also want to see the impact of CJ McCollum. If McCollum plays, it is a back-to-back. Now, CJ may not play here, and what that means for Carmelo Anthony and his numbers as we move forward. Let's look at some streaming options. Warriors guys, we're looking at Kent Bazemore, Jordan Poole. Bazemore, I just think he's going to get more usage because I think Kelly Oubre is out as well there for Golden State. So a big opportunity for Baze. And then you got Mannion and Wanamaker. I think Maxi Kleber, we can look at Nick Claxton and Dario Saric as some stream options also. For points leagues, we're looking at Tomas Satoransky, still rostered in under 50% of leagues. Jordy Poole, Kent Bazemore, Sadiq Bey, and Josh Jackson in Detroit. Guys, we are done here. Thank you for watching. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell for notifications. Give it a thumbs up and leave a comment down below, guys. We are done here. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. See ya.